Hello my friends, it's Gabriel with the Last Huntsman channel here, and here I have the Reiff Knives F4 Bushcrafter. Let's check this knife out. Alright, so here's the Reiff Knives F4 Bushcrafter. It's made out of CPM 3V, which Reiff Knives does a really good job at working with that steel. And it's 5/32 thick. It has a pretty long handle on it. We'll be kind of discussing that, but as you can see, I got medium-sized hand. However, it does feel very ergonomic. Like if you want a knife that can just really be a good little workhorse knife, this definitely seems like it's going to be it, but let's try it out. All right, so with the Reiff Knives F4, obviously it's about a 4-inch blade. It's the Bushcraft model. It's not going to baton a lot, but it is 5/32 thick, CPM 3V, with kind of a high saber hollow grind mix. So let's just see what it can do with some batoning. Now this is a piece of elm, so it is a hardwood. It's not super hard either though. For its size though, it actually batons pretty well. Also, I have one of the original ones. Thank you first of all to Jacob with the Prepper's Bunker Outdoors, who lended me this knife for testing and review. But the original sheaths were something more like this, but now I think they're going with kind of a higher quality leather sheath and or a Kydex. Personally for me, I'm never really gonna EDC this knife, so I actually don't mind the leather kind of pouch style sheath, especially for the type of knife this is. All right, so this ain't really gonna be a chopping knife. I mean, you can a little bit, but it just doesn't have much weight, and that blade is a very narrow blade. Actually, if that's probably one criticism that I have of this knife, is I actually think this knife would be benefited if it had just a bit broader of a blade. However, it is just kind of a handy little bush knife. So I'm going to do some cross grain batoning here. And this is a hardwood that I'm doing this to. So you can thump on this knife pretty good. And it is, like I said, it is 5/32. So for this size, that's about perfect. Alright, so here I have some knives to try to kind of compare the Reiff Knives F4 to, just so you could kind of get some ideas. Here's the Reiff Knives F4. Here is the Phobos Knives Kakula. And here is a De-Evolution Lifestyle U-Pick. Alright, so another test I'm going to do with the Reiff Knives F4 Bushcrafter. So I'm just going to do some slicing here. This is a piece of elm that I'm slicing. But something to take note on with the Reiff knives is their ergonomics are really amazing. I would take this compared to an LT Wright any day, honestly. It's a super slicey knife, even with that kind of mid to high saber hollow grind combo. Just super slicey knife. Works really great. If I was going to change anything ergonomically, I think I would almost shorten the handle a little bit, but I know they're trying to reach out to a range of guys too. So, all right, so here I have the Reiff Knives F4. I'm gonna do some notching with this knife because it is a bushcraft knife, and honestly, that's what it's meant to do really well. It's a little fine bushcrafty type of task. Oh yeah, made a pretty good little square notch there. We'll do something for a tent stake too. Do some little whittling. And there we go. It does really great at notching, and I actually think it has a little bit more oomph to it than a lot of other thinner, finer bushcraft knives, but yet still can do some pretty fine tasks. All right, with the Reiff Knives F4 Bushcrafter, I'm gonna try to do some feather sticks here. Get some of this stuff out of my way here. Oh yeah, this knife is just super fine slicing knife, and that's why I kind of like it actually quite a bit. It's just because it still can do a lot of fine stuff, but yet it's not like some super thin fiddlestick little knife that doesn't have any backbone to it as well. All right, so here I have the Reiff Knives F4 Bushcrafter. I'm gonna try to do some fire starting here. Almost. Well, there we go. Wouldn't be a bushcraft knife if it didn't have a good 90-degree spine on it, right? All right, so I showed that this knife can do a fire. However, with the 90-degree spine, you could also always use that for getting fluff or debarking. All right, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up my review of the Reiff Knives F4. My overall thoughts on it is I really like this knife. It's a great bushcrafty knife. It feels just great in hand. If there was a few things that I would change with it, I would actually have liked to have seen the blade just a little bit wider, just to kind of give it that more, I feel like it would be a little bit more slicier if it was wider, or even a full flat grind I think would have been pretty cool. But that being said, it is awesome as is. So if you want just like a smaller bushcrafty type of companion to go with your Reiff F6, or you're just looking to get that like top tier, really nice American made CPM 3V, American made bushcraft knife, definitely check out the Reiff Knives F4. With all that being said, be prepared both physically and spiritually. God bless and carry on.